Hello everyone, myself Alok Kumar. I am assistant professor in Government College of Engineering Dharmapuri. So here we will see dynamic scope. In previous lecture we have seen static scope or lexical scope. So based on that dynamic scope we will see example also. So here we can see a non-local names binding is not determined lexically or statically but inherits that of the caller. Okay, so here this dynamic scope we can see with the help of one example. Suppose we are having one program is this a small program is there, integer x equals to 0. This function we are having, and inside this one we are returning x, and this one is main function. Okay, integer x equals to 1 and return f. Okay, here this function we are calling in this main. So here when we are calling this function based on static scope or lexical scope, when we are calling this function f, so this function will be called, so at the time the value of x will come from this global variable. Okay, so x value it will return as 0. Okay, while in case of dynamic scope, so when we are going to call this function f, at the time this x value will be returned by this x when we are going to call this function f. So this is the difference between static scope and dynamic scope. So this one we can see with this example. Okay, so now we will see implementing dynamic scope. So here this one we can implement like a stack based method also there and table based method. So in using stack based method, so it traverses the runtime stack, checking each activation record for the first value of the identifier. While in table-based method, it uses a table to associate each name with its current meaning. Okay, when a procedure is activated, it locates each local name to the entry in the table and store the name's previous meaning in the activation record. Okay, there are some problems in dynamic scope. Bad program readability. In this dynamic scoping, understanding of the program relies on a simulation of it. Okay, it is not suitable for static type checking. And here in the dynamic scope, therefore dynamic scope is not commonly used. Okay, so here now we will see based on dynamic scope, here we will see is heap. Okay, so how we are going to allocate the memory. Okay, so here we will see in heap a value that outlives the procedure that creates it cannot be kept in the activation record. So we can see here one example, like we are having one pointer function here like this manner, this integer function this. So here it is returning one new integer array. So this one is we are saying like languages with dynamically allocated data use a heap to store dynamic data. Okay, so now where we will put the data in heap, so this thing we will see here. We can see here the heap is an area of memory which is dynamically allocated. Okay, so like a stack, it may grow and shrink during runtime. Okay, while we have seen in a stack that property we already know, that is first in last out or last in first out, LIFO or FILO. Okay, so but this one never follows the property of that stack, this FILO or LIFO. A heap is not never follow. So unlike a stack, it is not a LIFO, more complicated to manage, and this one is more complicated to manage, this heap. Okay, in a typical programming language implementation, we will have both heap and stack allocated memory coexisting. Okay, now here we can see let both stack and heap share the same memory area but grow towards each other from opposite end. Okay, now here suppose we can see the stack, this one is stack base and this one is, suppose we are saying stack top. Okay, and this one is heap top and this one we are saying as heap base. Okay, so this one's we will say like stack memory area and this one we will say heap memory area. While this here this portion we are saying stack grows downwards. So like this manner stack will grow. So because this one everything happens from top of stack, so stack top. Okay, so stack will grow like this manner if we have given here this stack top. Okay, And if we are assuming like this one is heap memory area, so at a time heap can expand upward like this manner, heap will grow. Okay, now here we will see how we are going to manage in heap. Okay, so allocation, here we will see in heap management, when a program requests memory for a variable or object, the memory manager produces a chunk of contiguous heap memory to the requested size. Okay, now in heap management, like here if we are doing deallocation, how it happens, so the memory manager returns deallocated space to the pool of the free space. Okay, in this heap, one problem is like heap is fragmented into too many small and non-contiguous chunks. Okay, so here we will see allocation in this heap allocation, best fit algorithm and first fit algorithm also. Like here it in best fit algorithm, it allocates the requested memory in the smallest available chunk that is large enough. Okay, while in first fit algorithm, it places an object in the first. Okay, first means we are saying lowest address. Okay, first chunk in which it fits. Okay, it takes less time than best fit to place objects, and overall performance is worse than the best fit in this first fit algorithm. Okay, so now here we can see like in heap allocation how we manage the free space. Okay, so here we can see like in stack this follow the order like last in first out allocation. So stack top moves up and down, everything above stack top is in the use allocated. Okay, below is the free memory. Here we can see here this one is the free memory that is coming outside of this stack top, and this one is the allocated from stack base and up to stack top. Okay, now here heap never follow the property of this stack, that is LIFO. So how we manage the free space in this one? So we can see here this one is heap top and this one is heap base. So this one is mixed, allocated and free. So here like we are saying this one is free, here free, this one is allocated. Okay, like this one is free. So how we are going to free these spaces in heap? So this thing we can see in now, like how to manage free space in the middle of the heap. So it keep track of the free block in a data structure, the free list. Okay, so for that one we will create one free list, and based on that we will create that free list, and wherever the free space is present in that heap, so we will create one list of that one. So we keep track of the free blocks in a data structure, that is list. Okay, so we will say that as free list. For example, we could use a linked list pointing to the free blocks. Okay, suppose this one. So here in the next of this one will point to this free block, next of this one will point to next. Okay, so for this one here for this one also heap also we can create one linked list for free. Okay, like in the stack we have done, we have freed the space that is coming outside the stack. Okay, so now here how to keep track of free memory? So here where do we find the memory to store a free list data structure? Suppose this question is there, where do we find the memory to store a free list data structure? So here we can, since the free blocks are not used by the program, so the memory manager can use them for storing the free list itself. Okay, so like this manner, suppose this one is heap top and this one is heap base, and heap this one is free space is there. So we will create one linked list, and based on that one we can whatever free blocks are there, we can create one linked list for that one. Okay, so remaining topic we will see in next lecture. Thank you.